Yeah. We haven't been here in 2 years. When you've been away from it, you got to get in the groove. You got to get it.
Pickle Wheat became one of the toughest young American alligator hunters on Swamp People. Lately, fans have noticed something unsettling. The pressure, the danger, and the changing swamp may be closing in around her. Is Pickle facing the most difficult chapter of her swamp life yet? Join us as we explore Pickle's story and the dangerous adventures of swamp life. Pickle Wheat and the Swamp World. Swamp People follows the lives of alligator hunters who work deep inside the swamps of southern Louisiana. Among the hunters who eventually joined the show was a young woman whose nickname quickly caught viewers' attention. Her name is Cheyenne Wheat, but almost everyone knows her simply as Pickle Wheat. Pickle was born on September 21, 1995, in the small community of Poydras in St. Bernard Parish, Louisiana. The region sits close to marshes, bayous, and wetlands that form part of the larger Mississippi River Delta. In this part of the United States, hunting, fishing, and trapping are long-standing traditions tied to survival and culture. Many families have spent generations learning how to survive here, and Pickle is one of them. The Wheat family already had deep roots in the swamp long before Pickle was born. Her great-grandfather was among the early alligator hunters in St. Bernard Parish. In those earlier decades, hunting alligators was both a livelihood and a way of managing wildlife populations. The skills required were often passed down through families, with older generations teaching younger ones how to track, trap, and safely handle the powerful reptiles that inhabit Louisiana's wetlands. Pickle's life was already cut out for her. Early exposure shaped her understanding of the outdoors. For many people watching television shows about swamp hunting, the lifestyle might appear dramatic or unusual. But for families like the Wheats, it is simply part of everyday life. The Wheat family also maintained a small business connected to hunting culture. Her parents operated a company called Wheat's Custom Calls, where they produced duck and turkey calls used by hunters. Pickle occasionally worked there as well, helping create the handcrafted calls and supporting the family business when she was not in the swamp. Her entry into national television came when she joined the cast of Swamp People during its 12th season, which premiered in February 2021. The show, produced for the History Channel, had already spent more than a decade documenting the lives of Louisiana's alligator hunters. Each season follows hunters as they race against time during the short alligator hunting season. When Pickle appeared on the series, she was one of the youngest hunters featured on the show. Her role placed her on the boat with veteran hunter Troy Landry, a well-known figure on the program often called the King of the Swamp. Landry had spent decades hunting alligators in Louisiana and had become one of the most recognizable personalities on the show. Working alongside such an experienced hunter provided Pickle with both mentorship and visibility.
She said, I'm too slow. She want to be the captain. So, okay, I said, you want to be the captain? Be my guest. I don't think she knows what she's getting her.
043-052. Viewers quickly noticed her energy and confidence. Despite her age, she handled the demanding work with determination. She also had a unique personality. She combined the toughness required for swamp hunting with an easygoing attitude that made her scenes enjoyable to watch. Her interactions with Troy Landry often showed a mix of humor, learning, and teamwork as they handled the challenges of the swamp together. Beyond the show, Pickle also built a presence online where she shared parts of her life with fans. Social media posts showed hunting trips, family activities, and moments from daily life in Louisiana. Over time, she developed a following among viewers who were curious about the culture of the swamp and the people who live there. Her life also expanded in personal ways. She later began a relationship with an emergency medical technician named Joshua Kipps, and the couple eventually welcomed a daughter named Maimi. Becoming a mother added another dimension to her life, balancing family responsibilities with the demanding work of hunting and filming television. By the time audiences became familiar with her, Pickle Wheat represented something interesting within the world of swamp hunting television. She was part of a younger generation carrying forward traditions that had existed in Louisiana's wetlands for many decades. Her story connected modern viewers with a lifestyle shaped by family history, outdoor survival skills, and the unpredictable environment of the American bayou. That's just the beginning of the story. Let's dive deeper into her career life and her role in the swamp hunting crew. The Rise of Pickle Wheat. Swamp People was a series on History Channel about the hunters of Louisiana's wetlands. It was a series on survival, hunting, and the day in the life of an alligator hunter. It was scary, wild, and entertaining. It was Pickle's home base. Her arrival came during the 12th season of the long-running reality series produced by the History Channel. By that time, the show had already spent many years documenting the traditional alligator hunting culture of southern Louisiana. Viewers were used to watching experienced hunters who had spent their entire lives working in the swamps. Introducing a young hunter meant audiences would witness someone still building her reputation in a world where skill and patience matter more than anything else. One of the most important factors in Pickle's rise on the show was her partnership with veteran hunter Troy Landry. Landry is widely recognized as one of the central figures of Swamp People. Known for his decades of hunting experience and his deep connection to the Louisiana Bayou, he had already become a fan favorite long before Pickle joined the series. Working alongside him placed her directly in one of the most visible teams on the show. Landry acted as a mentor, guiding her through the many technical aspects of alligator hunting that television viewers rarely see in detail. The work begins long before a hunter ever encounters a gator. Hunters prepare hundreds of baited lines that stretch across swamp channels and marshy waterways. Each line must be carefully tied to branches or wooden stakes and marked so hunters can return to check them later. The bait, often consisting of chicken or fish, is meant to attract large alligators lurking beneath the dark water. Once the season begins, the days start early. Hunters travel by boat deep into the wetlands, often before sunrise.
Yeah. We haven't been here in 2 years. When you've been away from it, you got to get in the groove. You got to get it.
0, 15, 0, 21. Their task is to check each bait line one by one, searching for signs that a large alligator has taken the bait. If the line begins to move or tighten, it usually means a powerful reptile is on the other end. That's where the hunt begins. When Pickle first began appearing on the show, viewers watched her learning how to read those subtle signs in the water. A shaking line might mean a gator is still fighting. A still line could mean the animal has already stopped moving. Hunters must approach slowly and carefully, because an alligator can suddenly burst from the water with tremendous force. Handling such situations requires steady nerves. On camera, Pickle demonstrated exactly that. She was focused and showed no hesitation. When a line revealed a large gator, she worked alongside Troy Landry to control the situation step by step. The process involves pulling the animal close to the boat, securing it, and then making sure it cannot thrash violently enough to damage the boat or injure anyone on board. These moments quickly made her stand out. Viewers noticed that she did not treat the work like a spectacle. Instead, she approached each hunt with the seriousness that the job demands. Alligator hunting is not only physically demanding but also dangerous. A large alligator can measure more than 10 feet and weigh hundreds of pounds. Even experienced hunters must remain cautious when bringing one close to the boat. As the season progressed, Pickle became more active in the daily routine of the hunt. She helped pull heavy lines from the water, handled equipment, and participated directly in securing the animals once they surfaced. These actions showed that she was not simply observing the work around her. She was doing the same demanding tasks that every hunter on the show performs. The structure of Louisiana's alligator hunting season also added urgency to her role. The state regulates the harvest carefully, allowing hunters only a limited number of tags each year. Each tag represents one alligator that can legally be harvested. Once those tags are filled, the hunter's season is finished. To stay ahead of the season, hunters had to be quick and not bail on a bait. This was the kind of pressure Pickle worked under. Over time, her growing experience became visible. She handled larger gators and took on more responsibility in the boat. Fans of the show began to see her less as a newcomer and more as a capable hunter in her own right. Her confidence continued to grow with each season she appeared. Another factor that helped increase her popularity was the rarity of seeing young women represented in the world of televised alligator hunting. While women have long been part of outdoor traditions across Louisiana, The television spotlight had historically focused on male hunters. Pickle's presence helped broaden that image, showing that the skills required for swamp hunting are not limited. In the show, Pickle showed that she was good at what she did. Outside the show, the growing attention led to a larger following on social media. Fans interested in swamp culture began following her posts to see more of her life beyond the television episodes. She shared images from hunting trips, outdoor activities, and everyday life in Louisiana. For many viewers, these glimpses, by the time several seasons had passed, Pickle Wheat had firmly established herself as one of the recognizable faces of swamp people. Like the swamp, conditions are unpredictable. Responsibilities come with risks and danger is always lurking. Is Pickle up to her job? Life in the Louisiana swamps. The Louisiana swamps are beautiful, mysterious, and deeply alive. These wetlands of southern Louisiana are part of one of the largest river delta systems in North America. The mighty Mississippi River spreads out into thousands of channels, bayous, marshes, and shallow lakes before reaching the Gulf of Mexico. These waterways create an enormous maze of wetlands that stretch across the southern part of the state. Much of this region remains remote and difficult to access, even today.
See how it goes. I really need to dig down and stick with it. But I'm pumped and I'm ready to get back out here with Mr. Troy and do what we do best, saving the glades.
023-033. One of the most iconic animals living in these waters is the American alligator, known scientifically as American alligator. These powerful reptiles have lived in the wetlands of the southeastern United States for millions of years. Adult males can grow longer than 13 feet and weigh several hundred pounds. Their bodies are built for both strength and sudden bursts of speed. While they often appear still on the surface of the water, they are capable of explosive movement when hunting or defending themselves. For people like Pickle Wheat and the other hunters seen on Swamp People, encountering these animals is part of the job. The alligator hunting season in Louisiana usually lasts only about 30 days each year. Because the season is so short, every day matters. Hunters begin before sunrise and often spend the entire day on the water. The boats used for swamp hunting must be sturdy and reliable. They carry heavy equipment, long ropes, firearms, bait, and sometimes the enormous weight of captured alligators. Navigating through shallow marshes and tangled waterways requires experience. Hidden tree roots, submerged logs, and thick vegetation can easily damage a boat's propeller or hull. Weather is another constant challenge. The Louisiana climate is known for its heat and humidity, especially during late summer when alligator season usually takes place. Temperatures can climb well above 90 degrees Fahrenheit, while the humidity pushes the heat index even higher. Hunters working in these conditions must stay alert and hydrated while performing physically demanding tasks. Sudden storms can also appear with little warning. Thunderstorms often roll across the Gulf Coast region, bringing heavy rain, strong winds, and lightning. On open water or in exposed marshland, these storms can create dangerous conditions quickly. Boats may struggle against strong winds, and visibility can drop sharply as rain pours down. The swamp is constantly changing. Water levels shift as tides move through coastal marshes. In some places, channels that were once deep become shallow due to sediment buildup. In other areas, erosion slowly eats away at the land. According to research from United States Geological Survey, Louisiana has lost thousands of square miles of coastal wetlands over the past century due to erosion, storms, and rising sea levels. This ongoing transformation means hunters must continuously learn and adapt to new conditions. Wildlife in the swamp is also incredibly diverse. Alligators are only one part of the ecosystem. Snakes, including venomous species like the cottonmouth snake, are common along swamp banks. Large snapping turtles hide in muddy waters. Wild boars sometimes roam the marshes. Even insects play a powerful role in shaping daily life there. Mosquitoes and biting flies can swarm hunters during the hottest parts of the day. The isolation of the swamp adds another layer of difficulty. Many hunting areas are far from hospitals or emergency services. If an accident occurs, reaching medical help may require long boat rides through winding waterways. This reality forces hunters to remain extremely careful while working. Handling an alligator on a boat is perhaps one of the most intense moments in the entire process. When a gator takes the bait on a line, it does not simply surrender when hunters approach. The animal often fights fiercely, thrashing in the water and twisting its powerful body. Hunters must carefully pull the animal toward the boat without allowing it to flip the vessel or snap the rope. The jaws of a large alligator contain enormous pressure, strong enough to crush bone. While hunters use techniques designed to control the animal safely, every moment requires attention and teamwork. One mistake could lead to serious injury. These dangers are not exaggerated for television. They are part of daily life for people who work in the wetlands. Programs like Swamp People bring cameras into this environment, but the risks remain real regardless of whether a camera crew is present. Many hunters who appear calm and confident on television have spent decades learning these lessons. They understand how quickly conditions can change and how important it is to remain patient and alert at all times, because anyone can be a casualty at any moment. Tough side of modern alligator hunting. The hunters featured on Swamp People are not simply chasing large reptiles for excitement. They are working inside a tightly controlled industry that has evolved over many decades. As the years pass, that industry has become more demanding, creating new pressure for hunters like Pickle Wheat who depend on successful seasons in the swamp. The American alligator was not always as common as it is today. By the middle of the 20th century, heavy hunting and habitat loss had pushed the species toward serious decline across the southeastern United States. During the 1960s, the animal became protected under federal conservation laws. Those protections later expanded when the species was listed under the Endangered Species Act of 1973. This decision stopped most commercial hunting and allowed alligator populations to slowly recover. The policy worked. By the late 1980s, the American alligator population had rebounded strongly in many parts of the southern United States. As a result, wildlife authorities developed regulated hunting programs designed to control populations while supporting local economies. In Louisiana, the system is managed by the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries. Under this system, hunters cannot simply enter the swamp and harvest as many animals as they wish. Instead, each licensed hunter receives a specific number of tags. Every tag represents permission to harvest one alligator. These tags are carefully distributed based on scientific surveys of wildlife populations. Biologists study nesting areas, habitat conditions, and population density to decide how many animals can be safely harvested each year without harming the species. For hunters, this system creates a strict structure. The alligator season usually lasts about 1 month, beginning in early September in many parts of Louisiana. Within that short window, hunters must catch enough animals to use their tags. If the season ends before all the tags are filled, those opportunities disappear until the following year. This limited time frame adds intense pressure. Hunters often set dozens or even hundreds of baited lines throughout the swamp. Each line must be checked daily, sometimes multiple times a day. A missed line could mean losing an alligator that escaped after taking the bait. When several lines are spread across miles of marshland, keeping track of them becomes a complex task. According to information from the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, the state's alligator industry generates millions of dollars each year through the sale of hides, meat, and farmed animals. Prices for alligator hides change depending on market demand, the size of the animal, and the quality of the skin. When hide prices are high, hunters may feel strong motivation to maximize their harvest within the legal limits of their tags. But when prices fall, the pressure shifts in another direction. Hunters must work harder to make the same income. This uncertainty means every season carries financial risks. That's not the only problem. Coastal erosion has become one of the most serious environmental issues affecting the region. Scientists studying the area have reported that Louisiana has lost large portions of its coastal land over the past century. Research, published by the United States Geological Survey, shows that thousands of square miles of wetlands have disappeared due to a combination of storms, sea level rise, and changes in river sediment patterns. For hunters, this loss of land can alter the places where alligators live and nest. Areas that once held stable populations may become open water or degraded marsh. Hunters must constantly adjust to these changes, scouting new locations and learning new water routes each season. Competition among hunters also plays a role in the increasing pressure. Louisiana issues thousands of alligator tags every year to licensed participants. Many of these hunters operate in nearby areas, and the swamp can quickly become crowded during peak hunting weeks. Boats may pass each other in narrow bayous, and hunters often work quickly to reach their lines before others do. A damaged boat motor or broken equipment can cost valuable time during the short season. Repairs may require returning to town, losing an entire day that could have been spent checking lines. For hunters trying to fill dozens of tags before the season closes, even a single lost day matters. For hunters appearing on television, this means performing demanding physical work, while cameras record every decision. The presence of a film crew does not change the reality of the job. It's still a risky job, and hunters like Pickle Wheat must navigate all of these pressures while still building their experience. They work in a wild and uncertain environment. Every airtime on TV is a gamble with safety, and every season a test of endurance. Pickle has already experienced first-hand danger before, and it wouldn't be the last of the series. What happened? Let's find out in the next part of our video. Pickles, alligators, and dangers. In the Swamp People show, what the camera sees is not scripted. There are accidents, unexpected events, and dangers lurking in every camera frame. Working in the Louisiana swamp means accepting this and learning to think fast and play safe. This is Pickle's world, and every day brings a new story of survival from something dangerous. One of the most obvious dangers comes from the animals themselves. The American alligator is among the most powerful predators in the wetlands of the southeastern United States. Adult males can exceed 12 or 13 feet in length and weigh hundreds of pounds. Their bodies are built with thick, armored skin, strong tails capable of violent swings, and jaws designed to clamp down with enormous force. Even when an alligator is hooked on a bait line, it remains a powerful animal capable of sudden bursts of energy. On the show, hunters often approach a line that begins shaking violently in the water. That movement signals that a large alligator has taken the bait and is fighting against the rope. When the boat moves closer, the water can suddenly erupt as the animal thrashes and rolls. This moment is known among hunters as the death roll, a spinning motion alligators use to tear apart prey or free themselves from restraints. The narrow boats used in swamp hunting are another worry. Most of these vessels are flat-bottomed and designed to move through shallow marshes and tight channels. While they are practical for navigating wetlands, they can become unstable when a heavy alligator begins thrashing beside them. If the animal hits the side of the boat with its tail or body, the sudden force can shake the entire vessel. On several occasions during filming, Pickle has been seen dealing with aggressive gators that refuse to come quietly to the boat. Some animals remained hidden beneath the water for long periods before suddenly surging to the surface. When that happens, hunters must react instantly, adjusting their grip on the rope and preparing to secure the animal before it slips away. Beyond the alligators themselves, the swamp environment creates additional hazards. Thick vegetation and submerged obstacles often block clear paths through the water. Cypress knees, fallen tree trunks, and tangled roots lie hidden just beneath the surface. When a boat strikes one of these obstacles, it can damage the propeller or abruptly stop the vessel. Mechanical trouble in such remote areas can quickly become serious. Many hunting locations are far from towns or boat launches. If a motor fails deep inside the wetlands, hunters may have to navigate long distances using limited equipment or wait for assistance. For people working under the time pressure of the hunting season, such delays can cost valuable hours. Weather conditions in southern Louisiana also contribute to dangerous situations. Late summer storms frequently sweep across the Gulf Coast region. Sudden rain, strong winds, and lightning can transform calm waters into rough conditions within minutes. Hunters caught far from shelter must decide whether to push forward or turn back, while navigating narrow channels that can become difficult to see during heavy rain. Extreme heat is another challenge that rarely receives attention on television. During the early weeks of alligator season, temperatures in Louisiana often climb into the upper 90s Fahrenheit. Combined with high humidity, The heat can become exhausting for hunters working long hours on open water. Dehydration and fatigue can slowly reduce a hunter's ability to react quickly to unexpected situations. The wetlands are home to many animals that share the same habitat. Venomous snakes such as the cottonmouth snake are frequently found near swamp banks or hanging from low branches. Hunters have to worry about this while still pulling heavy rolls and lifting equipments for their hunt. Despite these risks, experienced hunters develop techniques designed to reduce danger as much as possible. They work carefully, communicate constantly with their partners, and follow routines passed down through generations of swamp hunters. Pickle Wheat entered this environment with the advantage of growing up around outdoor traditions, but the intensity of professional alligator hunting still demands constant focus. Viewers watching the show often notice the calm expressions of the hunters during tense moments. That calmness comes from training and repetition. Each time a line is checked and a gator surfaces, the hunters move through a sequence of steps they have practiced many times before. Even with those precautions, the swamp remains unpredictable. A line may break unexpectedly. A gator might lunge suddenly toward the boat. A storm could roll across the marsh faster than expected. These possibilities are always present. And now, the part we've all been waiting for. The part when everything goes wrong. A sinister turn. Viewers of Swamp People have followed the lives of Louisiana's alligator hunters with a mixture of fascination and concern. The series does more than show successful hunts. It also reveals the tension, the risks, and the personal struggles that come with living and working in one of the most unpredictable environments in North America. As Pickle Wheat became more prominent on the show, fans naturally began paying closer attention to every development in her story. Over time, some viewers started feeling that her situation was becoming more complicated and potentially more dangerous. Part of this perception comes from the way the swamp itself continues to change. The wetlands of southern Louisiana are not stable landscapes. They are constantly shifting due to tides, storms, and erosion. Scientists studying coastal Louisiana have repeatedly warned that the region is losing land at a concerning rate. Research from the United States Geological Survey shows that large portions of coastal wetlands have gradually disappeared over the last century due to erosion, hurricanes, and rising sea levels. As land disappears and waterways expand, the behavior and distribution of wildlife can also shift. Hunters who once relied on familiar hunting grounds sometimes find that those areas no longer support the same number of alligators. Channels that were once narrow may widen into open water. Marshes that once held nesting areas may vanish after major storms. For hunters who depend on the swamp for their livelihood, adapting to these environmental changes becomes a constant challenge. Fans watching the show have noticed that each season appears to bring new obstacles for the hunting crews. Some episodes show the teams traveling farther into unfamiliar territory in search of productive hunting grounds. This kind of expansion can increase risks, since unfamiliar areas may hide submerged hazards or aggressive wildlife populations. Fans who followed the series closely see that the challenges facing the team were not becoming easier. Reality series often highlight moments of tension in order to keep viewers engaged. Episodes may focus on storms approaching the swamp, mechanical breakdowns, or unusually aggressive alligators that resist capture. When these dramatic situations appear repeatedly around the same hunters, audiences sometimes begin to feel that something darker might be unfolding behind the scenes. For Pickle Wheat, another layer of complexity entered her life when she became a mother. Balancing family responsibilities with the physically demanding work of swamp hunting naturally raised questions among fans about how she would manage both roles. Raising a young child requires time and attention, while hunting season demands long days away from home in remote wetlands. Many viewers began discussing these developments online, wondering whether the lifestyle she had embraced would eventually become too difficult to maintain. Some expressed admiration for her determination to continue working in the swamp while raising a family. Others questioned whether the risks of alligator hunting were worth taking with new responsibilities waiting at home. At the same time, the increasing popularity of Swamp People brought more attention to the hunters themselves. Every difficult hunt or unexpected setback quickly became a topic of discussion among viewers who followed the show closely. Because Swamp People documents real working conditions rather than scripted scenes, viewers sometimes witness the genuine stress these events cause for the hunters. For fans invested in Pickle's journey, these moments create a sense that her path forward may become increasingly difficult. The combination of environmental changes, economic pressure, and personal responsibilities paints a picture of a hunter facing more challenges with each passing season. So it's more of a concerned fan prediction than an actual twist. Television editing emphasizes dramatic moments, and the hunters themselves often maintain a calm and determined outlook when discussing their work. Still, viewers who watch season after season naturally become protective of the personalities they have come to know, and that includes Pickle Wheat. Outro. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.